Hello class, this is week 13 and this is one of the two videos. I'm not doing the usual rundown because there's not really much to run down. All you're doing is watching these videos and turning in your new media draft. There is no reading to do. The assumption is that you are still working on some of your own research, and that is a lot of what your focus and concentration should be on. So in this video, I'm going to discuss the English 1020 final assignment, which is a revision of the researched argument. Okay, now this is really, really important. Okay, this is an assignment that is worth 35% of your overall grade. Okay, now I'm hoping that you can find some inspiration from these quotes, but I want to get into the meat and potatoes of this. Okay, so very often writing courses do not build a lot of time in for revision. And I think there are some people that basically pretend that effective writing can happen in a few days or weeks. But this final and major project of this course is going to ask that you take everything you've learned about the writing processes, composing, and research in order to put together your researched argument. This is worth 35% of your grade, but unlike a final exam where you kind of get one shot to do it, you have a first draft with my comments on it, and you will have put a week's worth of work, if not months. Think about it. We've been working on this now for 8 weeks, and you're still going to be working on this for 2 more weeks. So that is about 2.5 months. Okay? And it should be reflected. That's why this is worth 35% of your score. So you are, of course, going to use the writing that you have produced in your first draft. But if the paper does not change significantly, then you are at risk of failing the assignment. Now, of course, there are exceptions. If you received, an A on your first draft, I'm not expecting you to make wholesale changes to your paper. Okay, that would be ridiculous. That would be absurd. Okay, but if you are a student who even received a B on their first draft, or especially a C, a D, or an F, then you're going to need to make significant changes to that paper. Your goal for this paper should be to improve your argument and to improve your presentation. This paper should be a minimum of 8 pages and use a minimum of 8 sources, 6 of which have to be academic. So in my 1010 classes, we do talk about revision, but one of the things that I wanted to put in this assignment sheet is defining what revision is and how it is different from proofreading at its most basic level. Okay? Revision involves making global changes to your writing. It involves deleting, moving, and rewriting large parts, if not all, of your previous drafts. It often means doing new research, finding new ways to discuss your topic, and even starting fresh. Only pulling words from your first draft when absolutely necessary, and even those words might need to change. Revising is not the same as editing and proofreading. Editing and proofreading focus on sentences, words, and correctness. Revision focuses on meaning making and on the overall organization and development. Revision goes into more global areas, and then proofreading and editing discusses the grammar aspect of things. All right, let's get into the next aspect, the process. Because you likely have not spent a lot of time revising your own writing, this assignment is going to ask you to complete a number of steps as you revise. These steps should help you figure out what you need to do during revision in order to improve your essay. Now, when I teach this class in person, I make a big deal out of creating a reverse outline of your argument. That's this point here, number 1. I would strongly urge you to do this on your own, but it's not something that I feel comfortable requiring of everyone, because I think this is the kind of activity that really only works when there is an in-class component. So I am not requiring you to do this, but I think it would be helpful. Okay, create a revision plan and meet with your instructor to discuss it. Again, this is something, because I've been trying to eliminate assignments that are not necessary. I'm not having students prepare a required revision plan, but in our second conference. If you've not had that at this point, this is something we can discuss, and I'm certainly happy to work with anyone on this issue. You also need to do new research, find new sources to support your argument. The reverse outline can help you identify the type of research you need to do. My feedback and my comments can also do this. Remember, all of your sources do not need to and likely should not discuss Memphis explicitly. You need to rewrite and revise. You also need to edit and proofread. Okay, the requirements: 8 to 10 pages excluding the works cited. Must include 8 sources, of which 6 must be academic or government sources. MLA formatting guidelines, as well as a topic that is related to Memphis, which I hope that you all have at this point. The final draft of this paper is going to be due Sunday, May the 2nd at 11:59 p.m. This is a drop-dead due date. There will be no extensions granted unless there is a medical reason for doing so. Okay, I've staggered the due dates so my 1010 classes have their papers due a week early. I'm waiting literally as long as I can so that you all have the maximum amount of time to be able to complete this assignment successfully. Okay, so this is what this class has been building to. The revision of the researched argument. This is worth 35%. You do not have a final exam. You do not have a test in this class. You should consider this your final exam, because this is what we have been building to. And certainly there are some people who will need to complete bigger revisions than other people. Okay, and if you have questions about how much you need to revise, then this is the kind of thing that you want to ask and discuss with me. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you very much for your attention. Be safe, be well, have a good week.